Monastry. This is actually a map which also goes all the time the same, but I somehow enjoy. I don't know if it's just because of the vibes of that Italian summer map, or if it's just, I don't know, a little bit better designed. Normally the heavy tanks are going here and there. Southern spawn goes here and there. Big fat battle is around this area here. Some tank destroyers or medium tanks try to play this area here. Normally you can camp there. You can't camp that much in the northern part. We can try it a little bit more here, but that camp position here is definitely stronger, I'd say. Some people try to play in the middle part, but as far as I can say, it always ends in a disaster if you go in the early game there. If you are able to reach in mid game or end game this area, you can shoot to the enemy base from this part, or also from the northern spawn, you can shoot from there. This area actually here is also possible to shoot into the center, but you can get easily shot by the enemy tank destroyers, which are normally camping here, and your own team tank destroyers are normally here. So, well, like I say, it normally goes the same time. It would be great if you could play more actively into this little village part with medium and light tanks, but the problem is you can be shot from so many directions. So many people are still standing in this area and then come down to you, just destroying you completely if you're alone there, which you normally are because your team's camping somewhere else. Or that whole area here is able to shoot then down there onto the center of the map. So yeah, well, not the best map design on this part. Also, for some medium and light tanks, this part can be interesting, but I say it's just more like a late game area where you can, for example, shoot from this part to the base, or from this part to the enemy base, to the southern spawn. Yeah, nothing crazy. And absolutely stupid is that this whole area is just decoration. I don't know if I will at some point open this up to make it playable. That would be great. Larger map, I would appreciate it, but as it is now, it's kind of always the same, of course, but I don't know, I still like it. I don't know why, because it's not highly favored for one side at any point, so I think it's still a fair map. So Monastery, B or A tier, I don't know. I'd say I would put it still in A tier, but that's just my personal preference, because I like that map. I could also put it in B tier, because it's hard to play actively. You have to wait for the enemy team again to make the bigger mistakes. Yeah, maybe it would be more fair to put it actually in B tier. I don't know. Let's stay with A tier actually, because it's at least balanced for both sides, I'd say. If I counted right, number 18 is Westfield. Let's talk about that nice green Scottish map, I'd say. Well, the thing is, medium tanks go here and basically can fight in this area, but normally they tend to camp in this part, and enemy team normally goes to this hill area, camps there, or also tries to play the southern part. There's an interesting middle part for light tanks and medium tanks, actually, which can be exploited by useful light tanks, which know what they are doing. Normally, safe space to camp is around here, and enemy team likes normally to go more into the bushes, a little bit further into the forest. You can also put your tank destroyers in this area. At the southern spawn, they normally stand here, but I think northern part has stronger tank destroyer positions. If you have a tank destroyer which can play hull down, this area is not bad as well. You have that central part of the northern side. You can play hull down here with a medium tank, but first you have to reach it, which can be pretty dangerous. And the big crush point for every heavy tank or hull down tank is this area here. And as the game progresses, whoever wins that can go further here, or for example through the buildings, or just straight away over the fields into the enemy base, and then it's depending on how it was going into the center part and the southern part. So actually an interesting map to play, as of course as well. It tends sometimes to be just the same. Who wins the north normally wins the map, but sometimes the south can strike back, so it's not such a boring map. So Westfield could actually be A tier, but I think the problem with it is that that northern part is so dominant, it's just for hull down tanks in the end, that it's a little bit unfair for every other tank, kind of, to win this map with the same chances. So I would still put good old Westfield in B tier. Sand River. Oh, well, I still haven't really figured out how to play this map properly. The thing is, you can normally play this area from both sides, but it's a little bit more favored from the western part to go to the north, so people like sometimes go up here and then stay here, because from the south spawn you would have to go like big fat hill up here, and normally you get outspotted from enemy light tanks which try to play here. You also have the disadvantage for light tanks to have this shaped mountain here, so sometimes you can do a fast spot up this area. Well, it's not so recommendable to play on the northern part, even for the western spawn. Normally people are camping in this area, and the southern team tries to go through the dunes, when I pronounce that right. Enemy team trying to play this area here, normally sometimes a little bit this. You have a big part where somehow the heavy tanks really enjoy to go and then just get stuck. Like this area here, this is the big crush zone, but nothing happens really. I think it's unplayable somehow. Heavy tanks are just like cupola sniping each other. I don't know why. It's so boring and stupid. And the big clue of the map is to go then, if you win the southern spawn, if you don't have so many enemy tanks to try to hinder you from going to the mosque in the central area, you can shoot from here into the center. I think it's much more difficult for the western part to use that southern village, because if you are able to go through the south part, you normally don't go straight to the center part, because enemy tank destroyers are normally waiting here for you, or even on this area. So you have to try to push even further through the south to get somehow to the base. Not so much recommendable to do it from that side, even rather go here. Normally the artillery standing around here. I don't like this map somehow, because it's still very difficult for me to play and to make sense of it somehow. So Sand River, is it as bad as the other D tiers? Good question. I just didn't figure it out so much, I think, to play. I'd say, well, I think it has good possibilities, but it's really hard to see them on the map because of all the chaos which is normally going on, and the team is somehow doing like really campy decisions and just not moving at all, and the heavy tanks are just shooting each other in the center of a map. I don't know. Maybe it's even D tier. But let's be nice to Sand River a little bit. Just maybe they will rework this map at some point. But when I think about it, actually, even if you win the northern part, you can't push, because enemy tank destroyers normally just outcamp you. Yeah, I guess it's D tier. Halluf. So this is the map with a big valley in the middle. Yeah, you can camp here, or actually the northern part has more interesting positions, as far as I figured out somehow a little bit here. Also, those stony positions aren't that bad. Normally people are playing here, but I don't know really why. I don't think those positions are so good and you can get spotted. Yeah, the southern part, normally heavy tanks and medium tanks, of course. They want to go here. Also, the northern part tries to play this area. Yeah, favorite for hull down tanks. Side scrapers are normally just forced to play here, and I think from the other side they have no possibility to play at all. I don't know, I didn't figure out any side scrape position on the northern part. In center, somehow light tanks try to play it. Normally ends in being spotted. Yeah, the light tanks getting spotted and die. So I'm not sure if it's a good thing to play aggressively here in early game. Rather wait a little bit until the enemy light tank has destroyed itself. I don't know why, but I still like to play this map. It's always the same. Who wins the western area has the advantage. Then you can just outcamp the enemy team. For example, from this area, you can shoot into the tanks which are coming from here. Even if you're not so far in the back of the map, you can still try to fight against them, and you're standing behind those rocks to like slow them down a little bit when they're coming. On the other side, you will have to go through that whole mountain area upwards, and yeah, people will just stand here. Sometimes even yeah, more like in this area to shoot you down. But I see this not so often actually. If the northern part wins, somehow they just roll through the whole map, and if the southern part wins, they still have to fight against somehow decent defenders. I don't know why it's not the best map, definitely not, but I still like to play it, because it's always the same in this case, but the same means it's familiar and fair, and no big surprises on the outcome of the map, and you have always a possibility to still be able to play and not doomed to be defeated directly. So Halluf, for me, decent B tier choice. So next map being Airfield. Sorry, I don't have any actual new map from this, so I just took an in-game screenshot there. And the thing is, with this map, heavy tanks play this area, and that's it. You can't do much more. You can maybe, when you start from that spawn, camp here. And the medium tanks tend to go here, but I didn't even figure out how to play from this side. Maybe a light tank could go spot this areas here. Yeah, medium tanks from the western part, from the eastern part, go normally there and can't do anything as well. And then it's just such a stupid standoff. Of course, campers are still here sitting. It's still, I think, a very campy map. It's better than before, but still, I think it's unplayable for most tanks. And the heavy tank gameplay in the middle is just hull down, shooting cupolas, or trying at the two positions which are possible for side scrapers to just block some damage. I think it's one of the worst maps actually. It's so bad, no fun allowed, and absolutely impossible to play aggressively or actively. Airfield, you piece of shit, you go directly to insta map ban. So I don't want to make this video too long, that's why I will cut it here. There will be around 4 to 5 maps with every episode I will discuss. I hope it will be helpful for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will tune in next time. Thanks guys for watching, and cheers bros.